The very essence of the mental game is this. The only reason an event matters is because we make it matter.
Welcome to the Mullins Farrier Podcast.
Every horse, whatever it was doing, had a season. Once their competition season finished, they took the shoes off, they chucked it out in the field with some other horses, and it had a 2, maybe 3 months period where it went and remembered what being a horse was all about.
Even in a cheaper area, your prices should be set by your skill level, by your experience. And some people might not feel that they're worth, as much as others. But if you're only charging $160 to shoe a horse, then the only way you're making money is on your trims.
The WCB was a way to make sure that you kept the trade alive. I think I'm a custodian of the trade, so it's like we have to keep it going.
It was hard, but you adapt and overcome, and that probably gets to me where I am now. It's problem solving, horseshoeing's problem solving, and back in the day it was problem solving how to be as strong as the older apprentices. So it's all about adapting and overcoming, which was good.
I know we learn every day, but you do have to put yourself outside the box and just continue to learn, which is why I was just trying to do my fellowship, because I still have apprentices, and if I stay at my AW, I'm stagnant.
Welcome, everyone. While this is a shorter episode, we're going to also keep the shopkeeping pretty short. The conversation you're about to hear occurred at the Focus Convention last year at Stoneleigh at the end of October. And it isn't too late to buy tickets for this year's Focus Convention. And if you do, stop by the Farriers Foundation's booth and buy some swag. Or throw a wet sponge at somebody or whatever activity they have set up this year. As you will hear, it all goes to a very important cause. You will hear me say that there aren't any organizations like this in North America, and that isn't completely true. The International Association of Professional Farriers has a program set up for their members where if somebody gets hurt, a group of their members get together and help them take care of the horses on their books. It's a different program, but it has a similar end result. There may be similar programs throughout North America that I'm not familiar with, and if so, please reach out on the social medias and let me know about them. I know in my area it has always been a very spontaneous thing, but there never seems to be a lack of farriers willing to help each other out. A fact that makes me very proud to be part of this profession. Anyway, this is yet another episode where Danny Bennett and I teamed up to do the interview. You'll hear him pop up towards the end. As you will hear, these gentlemen are very passionate about their cause and put a lot of work into making it happen. I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did. So I'm sitting here with a group of guys that it took a lot of work to wrangle everybody into a room all at the same time at the Focus event. We're here to talk about something very special, and it's not something that I've found everywhere. Even in my home country, when something goes wrong with a farrier, we just kind of bond together and help them out, but there isn't an established sort of entity doing what these gentlemen are doing here today. So I'll get you each to introduce yourselves and then explain what the Farriers Foundation is and why you do it.
I'm Mick Hanley, and I've been with the foundation from the beginning, the Farriers Foundation. The main reason that I became a trustee was 22 years ago I had cancer, and I was quite ill and had a stem cell transplant. And my lovely wife, who I lost 3 years ago, she said to me, "You need to give something back." And we started raising money for the Staffordshire branch. And then we started the foundation. And I'm very passionate for what we do because it's a wonderful, wonderful cause. And I just ask you to please give us time. If you need an explanation, I have a phone, I speak. And I can explain to you why I am passionate in what I do.
I'm Jonathan Nunn. I'm one of the co-founders
of the Farriers Foundation. So we registered the charity in 2012. It's the only registered charity in the world, I believe, whose sole aim is to help farriers in times of hardship. With that in mind, we, as a group of farriers, did a lot of charity fundraising events, and I realised that I'd got to legitimise the money that we were giving to charities, but also we were giving money to individual farriers. So when we began fundraising, we thought we'd got to have a legitimate registered charity in order to do that. So that's what the Farriers Foundation is. It's a charitable incorporated organisation. I'm the chairman of the Farriers Foundation.
Grant Moon. For me, I was always inspired by the social part this as farriers are, the camaraderie, and then the generosity of the farrier industry. With the other trustees, it was seeing that we needed to formalise and target the generosity of our industry.
For sure. And there's another gentleman in here who actually has a fairly important story to tell. It's a pretty good example as to why an entity like this needs to exist.
I'm Daniel Hewer. 4 years ago, I had an accident in the van at home. Basically, we had one in the yard with laminitis. It was late at night, and I said, I'm just going to sort this out before I go home. Went out to the van, lifted the tailgate up, and there was a big explosion, and I ended up with 74% burns of my body at the time. Was in hospital, was taken straight into intensive care and was operated on straight away. And then when the wife came in a few days later and said that John and all the rest of the team had been on the phone, I hadn't even heard about the foundation then. They stepped in and helped us out in a time of need. And the 4 months I was off work, it wasn't a worry, like that we weren't going to lose our house and things like that. It's a big thing, and can't thank everyone enough for what they do, and just like to give a bit back now, and hopefully it helps someone else.
That explosion, I feel like we should delve into that a little bit just to sort of cover what was it that happened that caused that to happen.
The gas had leaked into the back of the van, and as I lifted the tailgate, the interior light sparked the gas, and like when the fire report came out and they said it was the interior light that lit it, because I kept saying I never lit the fire. I know I never lit the fire because I was getting a pair of styrofoam pads out of the van, and they said no, it wasn't you, it was the interior light that sparked it. And the van had been parked there since 8 o'clock that morning. So just 12 hours it leaked on a near enough full bottle, I suppose. Be it the fire or the pipe, who knows? It's any other night I would have jumped in and started it, but it blew the doors off at a standstill. So there's one bit of good news out of it, I suppose. It was only burns rather than picking me up in pieces, I suppose. Yeah.
No kidding. Now, how does the process work when somebody does get injured? Do they reach out to you? Do you automatically reach out to them? I know word travels fast, but we cover social media as well. So as trustees, if we see something's happened, we'll reach out. But often, in Dan's case, people can apply. So anyone can apply on someone else's behalf. So obviously we've got a procedure, an application procedure. We reach out and we cover any farrier. You don't have to be in an association or affiliated with an association. We cover any eventuality that might happen, whether it's farriers or directly associated with family. So yeah, we get an application basically from another farrier or a family member who wants us to assist. Then the trustees together make a decision on how we can best assist that person, whether it's immediate financial, if it's going to be a short-term injury. If it's a short-term injury, often we will give a large amount initially, maybe 1,000, 2,000 in some cases. It depends. If sometimes we come across situations where people haven't initially applied, so they're in a financial difficulty when they apply. So then we assess their circumstances, and if they need a large amount of, to get them out of the worrying stage, pay the mortgage, pay household bills, then we'll give a large amount, and then a monthly amount after that. So we've got all different types of applicants, really. We've been supporting some guys for a couple of years who've got illnesses which have been put them out of work. They're unable to work due to either an accident or long-term illness as well.
Just to go in on what John's saying there, obviously we can't name anybody, but we have a farrier that has had an illness for a long time, and every month we send him an amount of money, and this person who is really ill writes a letter of thank you, and he tells us what's happening in the family. And the first letter, if you compare with the last we've just received, you can see how ill that person is. But in that letter, he says that without that amount of money, his life would be a lot worse. And that is why we do what we do.
For sure. Now, with this particular job, there are a lot of dangers and there are a lot of health things that come into play. How does the foundation, how do you work it out do you have time limits? What is sort of the protocol for figuring out what you can do for a person and what does the long term look like for people like that? Again, communicating with them directly as well. So asking how their progress is, or so reassessing. Sometimes we'll decide if it's a short-term injury, say a broken wrist or broken foot, or we get all types of applications. We'll say, right, 3 months, we'll reassess. So depending on the financial situation, if it's a long-term illness or a devastating injury, in Dan's case, where we actually launched an appeal directly for Dan. So at the time, I think we hadn't got a huge amount of funds. So occasionally, if funds are down, we'll activate an appeal for a particular person. But we try and keep anonymity. Obviously, not everyone wants to advertise the fact that they're having to receive charity from other people. But like Grant said, the great thing about our industry, and I see that the world over, is farriers are really thoughtful about other farriers when they're in hard times. Richard Ellis once said to me, it goes without saying, if a farrier's not working, he's probably not earning. Yeah. If his hands aren't working, then he's not earning. So it doesn't matter how good your insurance cover is, it probably won't cover you for the amount of money that you're earning if you're shoeing. Yeah, we always think we're invincible and it's never going to happen to us. Well, I think there's that part of us where we all know it could potentially happen to any of us. And that's why giving to a charity like this is an honorable thing.
Even when we have insurance, a lot of the insurance policies don't kick in immediately. So there's that time lapse between having the disability, injury, and the time that your insurance kicks in. And so that's a really vulnerable time when your income stops.
That's where you guys come in. Now, how do you do fundraising for it?
Well, I think right now is a really important time that people understand that the Farriers Foundation needs people's enthusiasm. We need their engagement and we need their money. And we're a charity. We're not a membership. But farriers ought to feel like that they need to be shoeing a horse for us every year as a prepayment, because we will be there for them. But we can only be there for them depending on the generosity of the people that are participating. For sure. No, that's actually a great way of thinking of it. So previously we've had charity ball fundraisers, an event where we have a black tie dinner, auction, charity auctions. And again, the farriers love making things and donating. So sort of the make and donate auctions have been really successful. I think we've had up to 10,000 at some of them. Some of the charity dinners that we've had at Grant's hotels, they've been successful. But during COVID, obviously, lockdown, we didn't have any fundraising events. So we've got a big push at the moment, shoe a horse for the Farriers Foundation. So guys are asked maybe if they get a free set of shoes at Focus to donate the set to the Farriers Foundation. We're calling that Sets Appeal. Yeah, everybody has a horse in them that would be nothing in a year. But I imagine it would help out you guys a lot.
yes, we've had a good reaction. Guys been coming up to us today and said, "Oh, yeah, we shot a horse this week," and I'm hoping that'll still keep going for some time, and we can inject some cash back in the much needed funding pot.
For me, this focus has been different because I have had so many people come to me today, including this guy, and say thank you. And that inspires me to carry on what we're doing. Until I die, I will not stop being involved in the Farriers Foundation because of my heart and soul are in it.
Well, for very good reasons. Where can people donate? What are some of the ways they can do that?
We're using Just Giving at the moment. Another big problem we have at the moment is linking a bank to a charity, because most banks don't want to bank for charities. So we're just in the process of changing a bank to a specialist bank. Most high street banks don't want to support a charity in that way. We hopefully will have a donation button on Facebook as well. Once we get the new banking details linked to the Farriers Foundation as well. We're online. There's a Farriers Foundation page. Direct bank transfer. That's the main ways at the moment we've been, or cash.
Okay. And what is the website page?
It's www. for the Farriers Foundation. Yeah, basically.
And I think the important thing is if you're not just up to donating cash, then we'll sell you something. We've got a whole line of clothing that you can get on the Farriers Foundation website. So, we're quite happy if you advertise for us, buy a shirt, buy a hoodie. We've got lots of things you can buy. So, yeah, we'll take your money any way we can.
I believe you've got some nice earmuffs, and winter's upon us.
Lovely earmuffs, yeah. Now that winter's coming. But we've got merchandise as well, which can be bought online. Again, we've got an online shop. And a lot of guys they love the hoodies and the polos. They're good work. It's good workwear. I mean, a lot of the things that we're activating at the moment, we've had a lot of ideas from other people about fundraising. So if anyone's got fundraising ideas that they want to send us or activate for themselves, we can lend a hand with that as well. I think like the sponge stocks was an idea from Sarah Brown. That's been successful. I think we've had over £400 from a wet sponge being thrown at somebody in the stocks. So that's gone down well. But yeah, it's good fun. And it's a bit of humour, something different away from the normal fundraising.
Right. Well, leave it to farriers.
And I think the important thing John hit on there, as trustees, we can't be responsible for all the fundraising. We need people to take the burden of fundraising on for us. So if you've got an idea, it's a good idea if you implement it and then bring us the money, because we can't, as a few trustees, be responsible for national fundraising. We do need the help of the industry.
Okay, and that was actually going to be my next question. Are you guys still looking for people to help in the fundraising and that portion of it?
Very much so. We're very much so. A small idea, big idea. If it works, if it's just £10, it doesn't have to be 10,000. Just £10, £15, £100, anything. We need anything just to help different people, because we've got people now that we're helping, and we need the money.
The key thing with this industry, as much as sometimes it might not seem it's a very, very close-knit industry. I mean, just look what's going on around us today with all the international guys over here. Globally, it's actually a tight community. And, there's no reason why people can't get together and actually push this, because I recently had a new cohort of students starting at college, and within the first week, you always have who are the FRC, who are the worshipful company and the association. I actually, in the syllabus now, teach them what the Farriers Foundation is. And I tell them this is one of the most important organisations out of the lot of them. They are the only ones who are really there to help you when you need them the most.
Well, we started with 6 or 7 trustees, and we've kind of reached, most of the trustees activate the fundraising. So at the moment, we can either stay the same, sort of get 30, 40,000 pound in the bank at any one time. Luckily, we had before COVID, we had close on 40,000, and with no fundraising events, we survived because we're volunteers. We haven't got any paid staff. So, but in order to activate more fundraising, we've got to look towards involving more people. We're talking about with the BFBA whether we can affiliate in some ways in the future. More events. The BFBA have always supported really well the Farriers Foundation. We don't pay for stand space. We don't get charged for entry for the trustees and helpers. So we are hoping to branch out and try and increase our abilities to raise funds. And that's again, like Grant said, we can't just stay the same forever. We've got to try and grow. And as more and more people come to us requiring assistance, just an example, we've had 3 people in as many weeks with some injuries or illnesses that we've immediately got to help. So,
Okay.
In our industry, we're a 3,000 strong plus industry in the UK. 100 farriers shooting a horse for the foundation is 8,000. For 1,000 farriers could be 80,000. And that's the type of money and support we need. We need the commitment from the industry that's going to bring us in an amount of money that we can support people that truly do need support. You know, every bequest we give, or however you want to call it, we put serious thought into it to do the best we can for that person.
Does anybody have anything else they would like to add?
thanks for your time. Thanks for everyone's support. So just want to say thanks for everyone giving to the Farriers Foundation and support your charity, because you never know when you need it.
And I would like to say thank you to all the people that have donated today. The response has been eye-opening. It's been a different view this time. People are realizing that I don't make nothing out of it, but I do because of the love for what I do. And that makes me happy. I can sleep at night.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for what you do. It's a very important cause.
Thank you.